Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. You know, we've been talking about Bitcoin this and all different types of, NFTs and cryptocurrencies and, just a bunch of things in that space, right? But, one of the things I want to talk about is someone was asking me, they weren't sure what security tokens were. So let's talk about it. What are they, right? What is a security token? Well, a security token, all right, so that's going to be a portable device that's going to authenticate a person's identity electronically, right? And it's going to do this by storing some sort of personal information, right? So, kind of how this works is like the owner's you're gonna plug the security token into a system to grant access to a network service. Now, security token services, right? They issue security tokens that authenticate the person's identity, right? And that's kind of the basis of what a security token is. But well, let's dive into the basics of a security token, right? Let's go into that. Okay, security tokens, they come in a lot of forms, right? Think hardware tokens that contain chips, USB tokens that just plug into ports, right? And there's even wireless Bluetooth tokens or programmable electronic key fobs, right? They might activate devices remotely, right? Think the key fob that unlocks your car, right? Or like a fob that opens your garage door, or opens the gate to your apartment complex, stuff like that, right? Now, single sign-on services, right? They also use security tokens to log users into third-party websites, just to make that a real seamless thing for you to just kind of log in real easily, right? Well, disconnected tokens are not linked to the computer or network in any way, right? Instead, right, the user enters the information from the token manually, right, into the system. Now, connected tokens work electronically and automatically transmit information to the network once they are in fact connected, right? Well, let's talk about an example, right? What's a real world example of a security token? Okay. Well, you might use a security token to access a sensitive network. Think your bank account, right? Now, in order to, let's say, add an extra layer of security, right? Now, for this, right, in this instance, for this, the security token is used in addition to a password to prove the account owner's identity, right? A lot of times you might see this as two-layer authentication, sometimes, right? So, also, security tokens, they're going to store data in order to authenticate the owner's identities, right? So some store, cryptographic keys, right? Which is basically a system used in cryptocurrency services like Bitcoin, right? But, the keys got to be kept a secret, right? You don't want someone else being able to get into your stuff, right? Take everything you got, everything you bought, worked for, stuff like that, right? Some of these, though, they're going to use time sensitive passwords, right? They're coordinated between the token and the network, right? And they're constantly reset, right? There's constant intervals at which these things are going to reset, so that way, like you can't just guess it, right? It's a lot harder to gain access to it. You could probably set different intervals, right? Maybe it changes every week, or maybe it changes every day, or maybe it changes every 6 hours, right? The intervals, it might depend on the system, or it might depend on how you want to do it, right? Now, some of these other ones for security tokens, they're going to use biometrics, such as like a fingerprint data, to ensure that only the owner of the security token can access protected information. A loose translation of that is kind of like your phone. You use your thumbprint to get into your phone, right? That's kind of how that is, right? Just kind of a loose example of that, right? But as with anything else, there's weaknesses, right? So what are some of the weaknesses of security tokens? All right. Well, you know, security tokens aren't without flaws, right? They're not flawless, but if the token is lost or stolen, or if it isn't in the owner's possession, it can't be used to access a service. However, the owner can take steps to prevent loss or theft, such as locks or alarms, right? Also, the token can be rendered useless to a thief by using, like I said, there are two-factor authentication, right? So, which it would require both an item in the owner's possession. Think, okay, we'll talk about like we used the bank account earlier, right? Think a bank card, and then like a piece of knowledge, like a pen, to access the token, right? So you put your bank card in, and then it asks you for your pen, and that's how you access the token, right? Then the token in this case being like your bank account. Well, security tokens can also be hacked, just like anything else, right? So, you know, whether you know it or not, this happens often, right? And it's when the owner unknowingly provides sensitive information to an unauthorized provider who then is going to put this information into the secure network, right? Now, this type of, we'll say, hack or attack or whatever, it's going to be known as a man in the middle fraud or a man in the middle attack, right? Any network connected to the internet is vulnerable to such an attack, right? Think of it as like, those emails you get, real sketchy emails, they're asking you for, certain information and it looks legit. It's not, right? You shouldn't be answering those, right? So, well, what does this come down to? What are some of the key takeaways? What do we learn from this? Okay, well, first, security tokens authenticate identities electronically by storing personal information, right? And you can have these security tokens can store any type of personal information, right? There's no limit to it, right? If you want personal information stored electronically, you can have a security token that authenticates who you are for this personal information, right? Now, these security tokens or whatever, they're issued by security token services, or you might see this sometimes abbreviated as STS, right? Which authenticate the person's identity, right? Saying you are who you are, right? Now, they may be used in place of or in addition to a password to prove the owner's identity. And then on top of that, security tokens are not always secure. They could be lost, they could be stolen, they could be hacked. A bunch of different things could happen, right? You never know. So hopefully you guys got some good information about, what security tokens are and how they're used and what they're used for. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, I really appreciate you subscribing to the channel. Maybe hit that thumbs up button. And until I see you guys in the next video, y'all be safe.